So the best thing that you can do in 2026, and you can actually start right now, is build your own personal brand. And I know it sounds easier said than done, but it's not as difficult as people want to make it look out. Now, there are a couple of tips that I can share with you, and you can just start right away. First things first is find your format. You need to experiment with as many formats as possible. Try carousels, pictures, videos, short videos, longer videos, blogs, vlogs, everything. And yes, do invest in long form content. Just make sure that the content you're creating has some sort of purpose. Even if it has storytelling or it's just some tips and tricks, although I say don't necessarily just stick with tips and tricks. Add more context to what your content is and why is it? Why is it experimental? Why are you doing something? The more you keep it varied, people love to catch up with it. People get a different sight of everything, and yeah, eventually they might begin trusting you. But eventually, that brings me to my second point is you need to show up consistently. Let the algorithms, let the audience, and let yourself know that you are disciplined enough to show up and keep doing it. You need to keep showing up and posting not just the right content, but the content that makes sense, the content that makes sense for people and the sort of audience that you need to build, not just for now, but think about it a couple of months down. That's your goal, right? And once you have, say, 100 videos or 100 carousels, tons of content, you only need to look back and repurpose what's worked, repurpose what's really worked for people, right? But in order to do all of this, you need to keep one thing in mind. You need to master one format. You need to understand what has worked the best for you. And you need to understand what you've had most fun creating as well. Once you navigate what you actually love doing when it comes to creating content, you will be able to double down on it so much more. And the volume of it will be insanely good because you're willing to put that effort in and you're willing to put the quality in. Just a couple of days ago, while I was creating content, I was writing a blog. I wrote a 1200 words blog in 15 minutes, no AI, nothing, because for so long I've had so much of experience and I had this sort of jigsaw puzzle idea of writing a blog. When I sat down to write it, it just came out exactly the way I wanted to because I was putting together ideas. And then later on, of course, I added stats, I added backlinks and whatnot, but that's the next part. You need to show up and just do the work. Okay, personal branding means you're showing up with the right content and you're showing up with your expertise, you're showing up with your experience, and you're not apologetic about being yourself. Don't waste time about fitting into other people's box. Create your own mold, be yourself, show up with what you have, and you'll see the magic happens. Because don't think about being remembered, think about building trust. And the funny thing about it is that no matter what path you choose, the result and the outcomes are same. So I would rather have you build trust. Once you build trust, you will be remembered, but for the right reasons. And you'll be able to earn money off of it. Now that is a real personal brand. See you in the next one.